You are 8 years old the first time someone tells you that you are special. Not special the way parents say it to make their kids feel good. Special the way a teacher says it quietly after class, while everyone else has already left. Special the way that makes the adults around you look at each other with a particular expression you cannot name yet, but will learn to recognize everywhere you go. You have a gift. You know it the way you know your own heartbeat. It does not feel like work. While other kids struggle to keep up, you are already 3 steps ahead, wondering why everyone else is moving so slowly. Nobody tells you that effortless is a trap. By the time you are 12, the adults in your life have reorganized themselves around your gift. Your parents drive you to things. Lessons, studios, meetings, auditions, opportunities. They cancel their own plans. They spend money they do not really have. They introduce you to people they would never have access to if not for you. You are the reason the family's social circle changes. You are the reason the conversations at dinner change. You are the reason for a lot of things, and you are 12 years old, and nobody has asked you if that is okay. You love what you do. That part is real. When you are doing the thing, making the music, building the thing, performing for people who respond to what you create, there is nothing better in the world. You feel completely yourself, completely alive. What you do not love is everything around the thing. The pressure that arrives disguised as encouragement. The way every compliment sounds like a demand for more. The way people's eyes change when you are performing well versus when you are having an off day. You learn early that the love people give you is connected to your output in a way that makes it feel less like love and more like a transaction. But you are 12. You do not have the vocabulary for this yet. You just feel it in your body as a low hum of anxiety that never fully goes away. You go viral at 14. One thing, one moment, one video or one performance or one creation that lands in the exact right place at the exact right time. And suddenly the whole world knows your name. The numbers are impossible to understand. 1,000 becomes 10,000, becomes 1,000,000, becomes more than that in a time frame so compressed it feels like a fever dream. Your phone does not stop. Your parents do not sleep. People are talking about you in languages you do not speak, in countries you have never been to. You do a press interview, then another, then 10 more. You learn to say the same things in slightly different ways. You learn to perform being yourself. You learn that there is a version of you that the world wants. Bright, grateful, humble, extraordinary, accessible. And that your job now is to be that version consistently, regardless of how you actually feel on any given day. You are 14. Your job is to be a product. Nobody says that out loud, but you feel it. At 15, you sign something, a contract, a deal, an agreement with someone who tells you they believe in you and want to help you reach the next level. The paperwork is long and full of language you do not fully understand. Your parents review it, but they do not fully understand it either because nothing in their lives prepared them to negotiate with people who do this professionally. You sign it because everyone around you is excited and saying yes, and the opportunity feels too big to question. You will understand later what you gave away in that room. Creative control, revenue percentages, rights to things you made with your own hands and your own mind. You will understand it when the money does not add up the way you expected. You will understand it when you want to do something different and discover that different is not permitted under the terms of what you agreed to. But that is later. Right now you are 15, and the world is saying yes to you, and yes feels too good to slow down. 16 is the year everything peaks. You are everywhere. Your name is in articles. Your face is on screens. People your age recognize you in public. Older people discuss you in meetings as a case study in modern success. Brands want your name attached to their products. Everyone wants a piece of something that you made with a part of yourself that you are not sure you can keep replacing. You make more money in 1 month than your parents made in years of combined work. You buy things, nice things, things that felt impossibly out of reach for your whole childhood. You give money to your family because that feels like the right thing to do, and because their happiness when you do it is one of the only unambiguous good feelings in your life right now. You are 16, and you are rich. And you are famous, and you are exhausted in a way you cannot explain to anyone, because explaining it would sound ungrateful, and ungrateful is the one thing you are not allowed to be. At night you lie in a bed that costs more than your childhood bedroom, and you feel something you do not have a name for. Not sadness exactly, not happiness, something hollow, a disconnection between the life happening around you and the person experiencing it. You wonder if this is what winning feels like. You decide it must be. You decide you just need to keep going, and the feeling will sort itself out. It does not sort itself out. At 17, something shifts. It is not one thing. It is a collection of small things that add up to a change in whether you can feel before you can see. The numbers start to plateau. The thing that made you special at 14 is expected now. The world that celebrated your gift as extraordinary has quietly reclassified it as normal. You are no longer the new thing. There are new things, younger, fresher, more surprising. You watch them get the attention that used to point at you, and you feel something ugly and complicated that you do not want to examine too closely. You try to evolve. You change your sound, your style, your approach. Some people love the change. Many of them do not. The comments are specific and unkind, in the way that only strangers on the internet can be unkind. They do not want you to change. They want the 14-year-old version of you that they fell in love with. They want you to stay exactly where they found you, forever. And the fact that you have continued to grow and become a different person feels to them like a betrayal. You are 17, and you are already being called a sellout by people who bought what you were selling. At 18, you are legally an adult. What this means practically is that the people who were managing your life now have slightly less legal authority to do so. What it means emotionally is that you are suddenly expected to know who you are and what you want, and how to navigate a world that you entered as a child and never had a normal moment in since. You look at people your age going to college, and you feel something strange. Not jealousy exactly, something more like grief for an experience you never had. The ordinary teenage years. The slow development of a sense of self that happens when nobody is watching. The mistakes made in private that do not become content. The friendships built on something other than proximity to someone famous. You have fans, millions of them in some cases. You do not have many friends. The distinction between those two things is something you feel in every room you walk into. The money is still there, less than it was at peak, but more than enough. You are rich by any objective measure. You are also unmoored in a way that money cannot fix, because money cannot tell you who you are outside of the thing that made you money. You take a break. This is how it is described publicly. A break, a pause, a chance to recharge and come back stronger. What it actually is a collapse. Not dramatic, not public, just a quiet, internal collapse of the structure that has been holding you up since you were 12 years old. The schedule that told you who to be and where to be it and how to perform yourself for an audience every single day stops. And in the silence that follows, you discover that you do not know who you are without it. This is the thing nobody tells you about being exceptional young. The gift gives you an identity before you are old enough to build one for yourself. You become the prodigy, the talent, the one who is going somewhere, before you have had time to figure out what you actually think and feel and want, independent of what the gift requires of you. When the gift stops being the center of everything, you have to build a self from scratch, at an age when most people are just finishing the first version. It is the hardest thing you have ever done, harder than anything you achieved at the peak, because there is no audience for this work, no metrics, no comments telling you how you are doing. Just you, in a room, trying to figure out who you are when nobody is watching. You come back, or you do not come back. Or you come back as something different that the people who loved the first version do not recognize. Either way, you are not 16 anymore. The peak was real. The gift was real. The money was real. None of that disappears. But neither does the question that sits quietly in the back of everything now. Who would you have been if nobody had noticed? You think about that kid at 8 years old, before the teacher pulled them aside after class, before the adults reorganized themselves, before the deal and the contract and the viral moment and the hollow feeling in the expensive bed. That kid was just doing something they loved because they loved it. You would give a lot to feel that way again. That is the part nobody shows you about being a prodigy. The gift arrives before you do, and sometimes you spend the rest of your life trying to catch up to it.